When you're talking about a shoe, the most important thing, especially in elderly people, or those that have problems with balance, is to make sure you get a sturdy, strong shoe. And there's a few things you can look at when dealing with a shoe. I have a running shoe here, for example. For one, the heel counter. If it's kind of resistant to compression, it supports the heel, kind of resists the ankle rolling in, rolling out, which can lead to some balance problems. As well as a huge portion is what's called the midsole. If it's too flexible, too mobile, what you can do is twist it. If it's kind of resists that twisting, then it's more firm. It'll give you a little more rigidity, a little more balance. Some other things you can look for are the sole. The sole, for those that that may have the lack of balance, that sort of thing. You want a sole that's got kind of a non-skid or some good tread to it. If it's slick, obviously that's going to lead to some problems. A lot of studies show that most elderly people that fall, or those that don't have balance, it's because they're typically wearing slippers or sandals, something like that aspect, and a lot of times it happens at home. So even at home, you should be wearing a good, sturdy type shoe. The important thing with buying shoes is you want to find a place that actually fits you for the shoes. Buying them just kind of at a Walmart or something to that aspect. You get a generic type shoe. All shoes have a certain, what's called the last, and that's how they're kind of shaped. There are different lasts if you go to like a specialty running store or just a good shoe store where they're having their employees fit you and try shoes on you. You're going to get more of a custom fit versus just buying it straight out of the box at a department store. You want to make sure you get a dress shoe that doesn't have much of a heel, because obviously the higher you are off the ground, the more likely you are to have a deficit in your balance. You want a shoe that has good, even though it may be a wedge or a lower heel, you still want something that's got some traction to the bottom. A shoe becomes too old when, let's go say for example an athletic shoe. Most will say something like after 500 miles of running or 6 months or something to that aspect. That's when the shoe now becomes less rigid. It's less able to support your foot. So there are studies that will say somewhere around 500 miles or 6 months to a year you should be changing your shoes.